Welcome to another episode of the Pixelated Porch Podcast. You are joined by your three friendly nerds, Ricky, Chris, and Mike. On this episode, we are going to be talking about childhood dreams and why we gave up on them. Speaking of giving up, Mike, how was your week?
God, that's just a weird topic. I'm just sitting here just like, fuck?
So excited, and my enthusiasm just...
Yeah, I was just like,
why are
man,
you a failure? Go.
It's like Chris has like hella awesome topics, and like I was like, this is one hell of a spontaneous topic. Like,
it'll make sense.
So
don't worry.
when did your life begin to suck?
We'll get into it. Don't worry.
Yeah, it's like, what are your failures and why do you regret them? My week. Jesus Christ, what did I do this week? Oh yeah, I spent all week in New Jersey.
Best way to spend a week.
I don't know if any of our listeners just are from New Jersey, but I'm sorry. I'm sorry for you. So
They're not.
Any of our future listeners, just know that I'm sorry. But anyway, so I spent some time up in Swedesboro, New Jersey, for like Monday through Thursday, and then I went all the way up to Newark, Thursday night and Friday, and I did not have a great time up in New Jersey. It wasn't the job, it's just, I was telling my wife, for some reason, whenever I think of New Jersey, not only do I think of like Jersey Shore or anything like that, I think like, it's like, I instantly think when someone says New Jersey, I'm like, oh, it's the STD capital of the world. Now, whether or not I know that's true,
is it really?
I don't know, but that's the first thought that comes to my mind. Like, literally. Like, I don't know why.
A little something I made up.
Well, I think it's just because, like, Jersey Shore, you watch Jersey, if you've ever seen Jersey Shore, which I've seen, like, a portion of, like, one episode, like, a long time ago.
Say that again? Say the name of the show again?
Jersey Shore. Did I slur my words? I am drinking, so.
One more time.
Jersey Shore.
There we go. Okay.
There we go. So I think of that show, and I've watched, a little bit of it, and I'm just like, wow. And then the beaches out there, there's like one beach in particular that was like well known for like all their, like, you don't want to go walking on that beach barefoot because all the needles and all that fun stuff. And apparently, like they say that they've cleaned it up and stuff like that. So, whenever I just think of New Jersey, excuse me, that's what I think about. And so I just think STD capital of the world.
The only thing I think of is the episode of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia where they go to the Jersey Shore.
Yes.
And there's
was that the rum ham?
Needles.
Was that that's not the rum ham episode, right?
Yeah, that's it.
That is it. Okay, yeah. And he falls in love with the waitress on the beach.
Yeah, and it's like all like drug induced because of all like the needles and crap.
Yes. Oh yeah,
that's all I think about.
And yeah, so I'm just and then on top of that, so I couldn't get a flight out. I was booking a flight out of Newark and to get down to Raleigh, and they were, as I was booking it and clicking through it, it was like, oh, one or more of your flights is no longer available. Rebook it. Now the flight was like $195 or something like that, right? And I was like, hell yeah. When I went to go rebook the flight, it was only first class available, so it was like almost like $700, and I was like, "Well, that's not gonna fly." So because like we're not allowed,
literally,
we're not allowed to like book first class flights unless it is like the only thing left. We've checked like all our airlines, all that fun stuff, and only that.
My boss would just be like, "Walk."
Yeah. So I was just like, home. Screw it. I wasn't getting home till like 9 o'clock, or I wasn't getting to Raleigh till 9. And then that drive home would get me home at 11. If I flew directly into home, it'd still be at like midnight. So I was like, you know what? I'll just drive because I got done at site at like 9:30. So I had a 10-hour plus drive. I think it ended up being like 10 and a half hours from New Jersey all the way down. So that means you're driving through Maryland, you're driving through Jersey, you're driving through DC, and then Richmond. And DC I hate. And I mean, who does? Who loves DC? Like, oh yeah, I just love DC traffic. So, dude, I could talk for hours on like the traffic that was down there. I mean, I hit everything. There was asshole drivers left and right. There was a 18-wheeler, and he was like, everybody in New Jersey seems to do like 20, 30 over the speed limit. So it's like a 55, 65 zone. Everybody's doing 85, 90, like easy, like it's nothing. And this 18-wheeler was doing like 5 to 10 over what everybody else was doing. And he was like, you know, those assholes that you get like on the road and they have like a fast car, so they're just like flying down at 180 miles an hour, just weaving in and out of traffic, no turn signals, crossing off 3-4 lanes or whatnot, and just weaving in and out, right?
Just the best people.
Yeah, the best people. That's what this 18-wheeler was doing. I shit you not. And he cut, so like he was behind me because I got around him. I was like, "Fuck this dude! Like you were being unsafe. You're scaring me and this 18-wheeler." And I'm in the at this point I'm in the right lane, right, far right lane, and he comes up and I see him in my rearview mirror come up and he's in the middle lane. There's 3 lanes, so he's in the middle lane, and he cuts over behind me in the right lane. Never saw the black car that was in that lane. That black car slammed on his brakes, veered off into the shoulder, and almost like crashed into the shoulder because like he was like midway along the semi, you know, and like the semi came over and he like almost just like tanked it right in the side rail. Like
fantastic.
18-wheeler, not phased, no turn signal, just was like, fuck it, I'm going in this lane, fuck it, you know, and just over. Yeah, so and so that was my whole entire drive, like all the way down, like car accidents. Oh, the cool thing that happened though was when I got to this site, apparently another semi truck carrying cars caught fire. So like I walk up to the front door and it's a rectangular building and I happen to be on the wrong side to where I can't see it, right? And so I drive into the building and, you know, I don't, you know, there's nothing going on. And the minute I get out of my car, there's like sirens everywhere. And I walk up to the side of the building, yet again, I'm on the wrong side, and I hear boom! And I was like, you know, being deployed, I've heard my fair share of explosions. I'm like, that was an explosion. And I'm just like, cool. You know, waiting for the customer to let me in the door. And then all of like 30 seconds later, boom! Another one goes off, and I'm just like, yep, this is like, I am downtown industrial area. I mean, I was driving through there, and there was like bars all over the windows, broken glass. I mean, it was like ghetto. Like, it is just like trash. It is like scary, you know. And I'm just like, I'm not surprised. I was not fazed whatsoever. And I get inside, and the lady at the front, she's like, oh my goodness, there's an explosion out front, blah blah blah. And she took video of it and all that fun stuff. And a semi caught on fire in their like side lot and carrying cars, and the cars caught fire, and I'm assuming what those explosions were the gas tanks exploding on the vehicles, because when I drove out of the facility, the fire was out, but you just see like this burnt molten metal truck with like, Jesus. You know, that car carrier, and like 3 of those cars on there were like fried, like bare bones metal, all black. I'm just like,
did the driver get out? Did you see the driver?
I don't know, because like I'm not that type of person, because like I know a lot of people would like love like, oh yeah, let's go video world star, you know, like let's put this shit on Snapchat, like hell yeah. But then like when I sit there and I see that type of stuff, and I'm like, all right, first responders are coming, there's nothing I can do, like, you know, like they're already on the scene. I like, you add more chaos to that by going up there.
Mike,
and
it
having
sounds
a
like
video.
you did search and rescue at some point.
Yeah, exactly, right? So, you know, so I just was like, you know what? They're taking care of the job. They're on scene. There's no point for me to be around there. So, you know, and I'm not like all about like, oh my God, let me record this and put this on the Snapchat, you know, and so I'm just like, yep, that was an explosion. Yep, that's on fire. I'm like, cool. You know, nothing I can do, so I'm not going to fuck with it. You know, I'm not going to be a part of that. So, but yeah, so I mean, yeah. So, because the lady was like, did you see it? I'm like, and I told her, I was like, nope. Like, I'm not going to deal with that. And I told her that. And she's like, oh, okay. Yeah, we were all taking videos. I'm like, you were probably part of the problem. So, but anyway. So, yeah, so I did that. So that was a cool little event that happened up there. And then, no, today was cool. I went to a car show. I made a new friend over the past couple weeks. And down here in Trent Woods. And so we went out to this car meet that was out in New Bern, so we saw a whole bunch of cars. I took my Miata out there. He took his STI out there. And he's got 2 STIs, yeah. I think
two doors or 4 doors.
So I think one of them, yeah, I think so. Like, no, one's 4-door, and one's like pretty much stock, but it looks really, really nice. And then he's got like another one that's like not stock, and it's running like 700 horsepower.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. And then he's got a Miata as well, But it's a project car, so we drove that around. But yeah, we were just chilling around, doing the car show and just hanging around and stuff like that today. So that was fun. But there's like the old classic American muscle cars out there, and then for the longest time I was the only import that was there. And then two like 1990 Supras came up. And I was like, thank God I'm not the only right-hand drive car out here. Two Supras pulled up, and I was just like, hell yeah. But no, it's funny. So the license plates on a couple of the cars, so there was a Supra, like a brand new one, like 08. Well, not 08. Wow. 08's new to me. Wow, that's sad.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, where my brain's at. I'm still like before 2010. No, there's like 2020 model Supras or whatever it was, almost the latest gen Supras. And on the back of his license plates is like, OMG Supra. And then there's a GTR, brand new GTR, and
really?
On the back of it says OMG GTR. That's his license plate. I'm like, I love it.
Well, literally what everybody says when they see those.
Exactly, like, oh my God, that's a Supra. Oh my God, that's a GTR. And
it's been ages since I've seen a GTR.
In England, they drove around a lot. They were very popular in England, and they were almost like the #1 wreck car in England because like
They're super expensive, man.
Yeah, I saw a lot of wrecks on GTRs because they'd rip them at as fast as they can go. They've got so much power, but on the winding roads, they'd be like it's basically like a 18-year-old getting a hold of a Mustang with like 400 horsepower and not understanding that you can kick the back end of a Mustang like that, like nothing. And, they end up whacking somebody or whacking the curve and fucking up their rims and tires and body,
Especially, like, with how much rain there is in England, too. Like, God, like, that much horsepower in the rear wheels just seems like a bad idea.
On wet, curvy, small, narrow English roads, like, yeah. So, like, you saw those cars in ditches all the time, and you're like, oh, man, like, sucks to suck. So, but, it was so sad to see a car that nice in a ditch. Because
it's like $100,000 easy worth of car.
Mm-hmm.
Too much.
Yeah,
way too
much. Yes, indeed.
So, but other than that, the car show I put up my first piece of drywall in the garage. I did not realize how heavy 5/8 drywall is. So I can handle 1/2-inch drywall like nothing. It's super easy. I can put it up by myself. 5/8 drywall, Jesus Christ, it's like you're talking almost like a 20-pound difference. It feels like.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So.
Dude, I hate drywall.
Yeah, it's not my favorite. It's really not. But one wall has to be 5/8 because it's the wall that's against the house, so it has to be fireproof and all that fun rated stuff. So at least I only have one wall, and it's only I think like 7 panels I have to do. But oh my God. And of course, like I'm not putting the drywall on the ground and going up. It has to be like 2 feet off the ground. So I created like a rig.
Yep.
To where I can like lift it up and then set it on the ledge and then press it up against the board and then I can tack it in myself so that way I can do it myself. But
what always impresses me too is when they put like drywall on the ceilings.
That I will be doing, and I am having help for that. Oh,
I'd pay someone to deal with that. I don't want
to do it. I wouldn't be doing any of that. I just do it.
I think
here's some money. Go do
exactly.
it.
I'm gonna be chilling on the couch. Let me know if you need anything.
I'm thinking about having somebody do it, but at the same time, I'm just like, no, I'm just gonna create like a pulley system so I can actually like ratchet it up with my brother and I, and then we can just like stick it on the ceiling. But yeah, because my garage is like 16-foot ceilings, so.
Jesus, you need like scaffolding to like even get up there.
Pretty much. So I'm not looking forward to that, but I'm not worried about it doing it anytime soon. I'm just getting this one wall done at the moment, and just at least getting the drywall up. I'll mud it when I have all the drywall in. I'll mud it all together, but at least I'm getting this drywall up, so at least I can look like I'm making progress in the garage.
Yeah, I would step 1 foot in the garage, look at the ceiling. Drywall contractors.
I have seriously thought of that. I might do that. So just because I also have 8 light fixtures up there, and so I don't really want to sit up there and measure because I put
cut them out and all that. No.
Dude.
Ugh, now I gotta think too.
I don't know how I fucked this up, right? I have one single piece of drywall, right? And I measure the outlet And I'm like, okay, so it's 18.5 inches up. It's, you know, it's a 4-inch box. And so I get this square, I cut it out, slap the drywall up, and I'm low by 1.5 inches.
Well, this whole sheet is garbage now.
No, I was like, either I can cut this out and patch, and I'm like, fuck this. You're not patching this shit. And I was just like, I took the outlet out of the wall and I moved it 1.5 inches down. Because I was just like, fuck this outlet. I'm going to have, it's my 240 volt outlet. So I was just like, it's the only outlet that's different. So I'm just like, okay, I'll have it 1.5 inches lower. It doesn't need to be even with the rest of them. But I took the time to measure it. I marked it, used my T, got that perfect square, got my, you know, drywall saw in there, cut it all out perfectly. I was like, fuck yeah, there's no way I can fuck this up. I measured it and took the time to make sure, slap it up there. And I'm like, motherfucker. Because
worst.
Not only was it like...
at this moment Mike realized.
Dude, seriously, because I was just like... And this is, you know, it's 5/8 drywall. I'm lifting it 2 feet off the ground, you know, to slap it on the wall. And I'm just like, now I have to take this back down again and then move the outlet and then bring it back up. And I'm just like, you gotta be fucking kidding me.
That's the exact same feeling I get when doing with coding. It's like you're saying, like you do all this prep work, you measure everything out, and all right, we're good to go. Enter. Error.
Yep.
Fuck this. I'm out.
I'm done.
Command A, delete all.
Just close the laptop and just crack it over your knee. You know, I don't know.
So. Mike, if I were you, I seriously would have considered, if I had already hung up the drywall, just, all right, no socket here. It'll be behind the wall forever.
No, I can't do that. Like, that's what the guy did before me.
Punch holes in the wall till you find it.
There were 3 outlets in the garage that this dude, whoever like built the house or owned the house a long time, he put outlets behind the. He had paneling on the walls, and so when I took the paneling off, I'm like, oh, there's an outlet box. There's an outlet box. I'm like, all behind it, and I'm like, we're gonna fix this. So anyway, so that was my week so far. My night's not over. I'm probably going to do some more drywalling after this, possibly. Ricky, what have you been up to?
Yeah. So I don't really talk about it often on the podcast, but I do have a job, just to throw that out there, set the record straight. So
you're not living in your mom's basement?
Not as of this week. We're moving on up. Moving on up in the world. So, yeah, I've been having to go actually physically into the office a lot this past week because, you know, I'm still the new guy learning new stuff and whatnot. So now I got to start doing stuff. So that's cool. So I haven't really played too many games this week. Actually, I've played like maybe one match of Halo this entire week. I haven't really played anything at all. I did watch one movie. It was so we talked a few weeks ago about the movie Synchronic. So I was kind of interested in some of the earlier works because apparently the directors for this movie are kind of like up and comers in the independent film sphere. So I checked out one of their earlier movies that is actually on Netflix called The Endless. And it is actually about 2 brothers that escape a UFO cult. And you know, one of the brothers is like completely done with it, whereas the other one, the younger one, is, you know, basically keeps yearning to go back to it. So they kind of have conflict there, and of course they go back to the UFO death cult, and things go from there. I do not recommend watching this movie. It is very messy, all over the place, and things just make absolutely no damn sense.
Wait, you said it's very what?
Messy? Muddy?
Oh, I thought you said methy, like the drug. And I was like, what?
Oh, well, yeah, I mean, there are drugs involved. I don't know if it's meth specifically. I'm having deja vu. I swear, we had this exact same... I think I just have an issue saying messy. For some reason, it sounds like I'm saying methy.
I'm just curious.
Well,
Chris
Mike can't say Jersey Shore, so
I can't.
It's fine.
I mean, it's not worth it anyway. Chris, do you have any movies that are like this movie that are better?
I only know of like one cult movie, but it was really bad, and I don't even know the name of it. So no, I don't. Not yet. I'll find one.
I'll check it out. No, so that actually did. I don't know. I've been kind of in the alien cult realm. I did actually watch. Now that I think about it, I did actually watch a little 4-part documentary series on Heaven's Gate, which is a UFO death cult.
Dude, that's like really creepy.
So
yeah,
I don't know much about the alien death cults. I don't think I've ever heard of them before, and I'd love for you to go into that. But if you're watching UFO stuff, I forgot to mention, you might like it. On Netflix, there is the UFO documentary series, and it's like Bob Lazar.
Yeah.
So I've watched like the first 2 episodes of that, and I'm like, this
is he the painter guy with the happy bush?
That's Bob Ross.
That's Bob Ross.
Oh. Close.
And this is a happy little alien right here.
Yeah.
He's just probing the butt, very happy.
I mean, it sounded strange, but I mean, it's Netflix.
No, Bob Lazar is. I guess he used to work on in top secret facilities and whatnot. And he claims to have seen like UFOs and aliens in person.
Yep.
He actually has an interview. I don't know if you've seen it or not, but he has an interview on the Joe Rogan podcast, where he's the guest for the show. Whatever. That's a pretty interesting listen as well if you're into that sort of stuff.
I have to dig through those 400,000 episodes that Joe Rogan has and find it, because that is a really intriguing series, and I've only watched 2 or 3 episodes of it.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting.
Or whatever it is.
I'd love
if
to
it's a
hear
movie, I don't know, but
yeah, we'll have to talk about it, I guess, whenever you get done with it. Compare notes and whatnot. Yeah. It's been a while since I've seen it, so I forget more than I remember.
Oh, so it's not new?
No, it's been out for a while.
Oh, man.
At least a year, I'd say.
Okay. Yeah, I completely
and it was probably old when I saw it, so.
Damn. I'm behind the times.
It's pretty good. Yeah, definitely worth a watch if you're into that sort of stuff. What was I saying? Oh, yeah, Heaven's Gate. So, yeah, that just one look at the leader of that cult, and you're like, yep, this man's insane. Just one look at that man's eyeballs. Creepy as hell. But I don't know. It's at the same time, it's really intriguing. Like, what lured these people into this sort of thing? Like, how do you find yourself in this sort of situation? But they kind of actually go into that, like the psyche of the people that go in there. And what's really interesting is the majority of people that actually get into these types of cults are actually very well-educated people who come from like really good families and backgrounds. So, you would think that it's, people who are, down on their luck and just looking for any excuse to escape or whatever, which I'm sure happens, but not as often as you would think. So I found that very interesting because, in order to run a cult, you need people that can run a cult. So.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's like your own little like city, or I mean, Heaven's Gate was massive. Like, they had hundreds of people there at the compound, whatever. Like,
yeah, they had quite a few people. I think in the end, like when the whole, which if you don't know, spoilers, Heaven's Gate isn't really around these days. I think it actually is still to this day the biggest mass suicide on U.S. soil. Basically, like their whole thing is they believe that a UFO was going to come and they were going to shed their human bodies and they were going to turn into aliens and meet each other on a higher plane of existence in a UFO and then go explore the universe.
This isn't where the lizard people phenomenon is it?
No.
Okay, that's something different. Okay. And this isn't the Kool-Aid drinking cult?
No.
Okay.
No, that was damn, what was that? What was that called?
My wife would know. If she was in this room, she'd be like, "Oh, this is what it was," but I don't.
Yeah, I remember the guy's name was like
just hear
Jim.
Kick open the door.
I'm waiting for it.
Oh yeah.
All I have to say is cult, and she's just like, "Hey."
I know it was in the hundreds. Heaven's Gate was like in the hundreds. I don't remember the exact number, but it was alarming. So that's just creepy.
Yeah, well, for Heaven's Gate, it wasn't actually that big. There were a lot of people, but I guess that cult was around for like 20 plus years, and as the years went on, they picked up a lot of media attention, and I guess that kind of deterred a lot of people from sticking around. But the mass suicide, I think it was around like 40 people that did it. But yeah, the guy, the one that was, I want to say it was in South America, and man, I Any other day of the week, I could tell you what this was called, but I cannot remember what it was. But that's where the saying, don't drink the Kool-Aid. This is exactly where it comes from, because they all drank cyanide laced Kool-Aid, and there's that one was, literally hundreds of bodies just out in the middle of this jungle.
Wow.
Where people had all killed themselves. And I know that the leader of the cult's name was Jim something, and man, as soon as we get done, I'm gonna be like, damn it!
Did he drink the Kool-Aid?
Exactly yeah.
Oh, okay, so okay.
Yeah, it's crazy. What else did I do? Oh, so my VHS. Oh, okay. So also, I watched a ton of Pawn Stars this week as well. I got into one of those YouTube rabbit holes, like hours and hours and hours of Pawn Stars.
No, that's a pretty good. That's a pretty good show.
Yeah. It is so fun to watch, and that was a remote falling down. Sick. So last week I was talking about how my VHS to DVD damn it,
extravaganza.
Yeah, that was it. Has been pretty much a nightmare. So things have taken a turn for the better this week. I was able to get the cleaners for the VHS player, and I was able to get that back up and running. And I got my client's or customer, whatever you want to call her. I got her videotape to DVD, and she wanted it on a flash drive as well, so I got that done. But that was not without its headaches, because I kept running into issues with that. So like the first time I recorded it, it's a 2-hour long tape, and it only recorded 40 minutes for some reason, so that was cool. Nice. So I had to go back and redo the entire thing again. Then the audio and the video were not synced up. Like the video would happen, and then like 2 seconds later the audio would play. It's like, oh god, this is just unwatchable. So finally I got it up and running, got it working. But then I realized that I was not able to actually take the file and put it on the flash drive for whatever reason. Like it split up all the files into 4 different 30-minute videos. So I was like, all right, well, I'll just load these on, and then I'll just stitch them together in iMovie. Nope, iMovie doesn't like the file types, and I tried converting them, didn't want to, so I was like, shit. And then it just dawned on me. I was like, oh, I can just use Handbrake, and I'll just rip the DVD, and then I'll take that file and put it on, and bada bing, bada boom, we're done. Audio synced up, we're good to go. So
nice.
Finally, after all of that, I got it to her for a cool $25. So
like
worth
it. 3 days later, almost a month later, like, yeah, that was a well-earned $25.
Yeah, hell yeah. That was totally worth it.
Gonna go buy you a pack of bubble gum.
Yeah, man. So I went to flea market, found some old Halo books there in the most like random spot. Like the first 3 Halo books, Fall of Reach, which actually, little known fact, came out actually before the first Halo game came out. It's kind of like a little like, ooh, what's this whole sci-fi thing about? Then The Flood, which is actually just a novelization of the first game, and then First Strike, which is its own kind of unique story that takes place after. So that was kind of a cool find for $8, 3 books. Not bad. I've been looking for a new read, and I found 3.
That's news to me. I honestly never knew Halo had like books or an actual. I thought they created the game and created a phenomenal storyline. I didn't know there was actually like books.
Oh yeah, dude. There's actually tons of books. Like all this, which you guys listening can't see it, but I'm pointing to a little bookshelf behind me. But all of that is Halo books.
No kidding.
And there's like way more.
And you've read every one of them.
About 82% of them, yeah.
Okay, so who's Master Chef's father?
Unclear. Some guy.
Some guy.
All those books, and we don't know that?
We don't know where he came from?
To my knowledge, we do not know. He's just some guy.
Some amazing fighter.
So Master Chief's name is John. That's all we know. And he was actually kidnapped at the age of 6, and he was replaced with a Flash clone that was designed to die within a few days. So as far as his parents know, he's dead. But in actuality, they kidnapped him, turned him into a super soldier, and now he saved the galaxy multiple times. So you're welcome.
Maybe they can create another game where they find his home planet and his family.
That would be cool. That would be cool. We do know his home planet. The name escapes me. but we don't know his parents' name.
It could be just like Fallout 4 where you find your
This sounds
dad,
like
right?
the Chronicles of Riddick. Now it's Fallout 3, you pleb.
3, my bad. Excuse me. Wait, no.
Wow.
4.
Liam Neeson?
Oh, Fallout 4.
Fallout 3, you find your dad, which is Liam Neeson. Fallout 4, you're looking for your stupid child. And the Institute.
That's right. It's your child that you're looking for in the Institute. Okay.
I was like, Mr. wearing a Nuka-Cola sweatshirt and everything right now.
Yeah, with all my Fallout bobbleheads behind me.
Oh, speaking of, I know I sent you guys a text, but so the Bethesda deal with Xbox or Microsoft went through.
Yeah.
So now Xbox officially owns Bethesda. So now all of the Bethesda games are now on Game Pass. So like Fallout 76, 3, 4, Doom.
So all of the future Fallout games are Xbox exclusives.
Nice.
Yeah. Well, and PC.
Great.
Oh, you're not excited about that then, right? Yeah, that's right. You're PS4.
I mean,
we
I haven't bought a new system yet. That would be a reason for me to go to Xbox, because Fallout's one of my like all-time favorite games.
Dude, good luck finding one. I can only find the S's. So
man, yeah, I went to GameStop today. So it's my brother's birthday, and we kind of just went and hung out, whatever. We went to GameStop just to kind of look around, and the guy was like I just kind of nonchalantly asked, "So you guys got any of the Series X in?" And he was like, "Yeah, actually, we actually just got a shipment in the back. I got 5 of them. They're $4.99 a piece if you guys want them." And I'm like, "Oh my god!" Like, oh, I was not prepared for this. I was not prepared to make this decision. And he's like, "Nah, I'm just kidding." Like, oh,
that motherfucker.
Like, his delivery was just like, I mean, I had no inclination this dude was fucking with me at whatsoever.
He pulled a fast one right there. He pulled a fast one, and I pulled my gun.
Yeah.
Call
an ambulance.
You motherfucker. I need it now.
Yeah. I definitely want to get one or a new PC, just like specifically to play Halo Infinite when that finally comes out later this year. So, but yeah, that's pretty much it for me. Christopher,
Yeah.
please inform us.
I don't feel like I did anything this week. I finished my shed. I finished my shed. Got the doors on. I haven't put anything in there yet because everything that I've read says that this shed leaks like a sieve. So we're supposed to be getting some pretty heavy rain for like the next freaking week. So I will be out there with a caulking gun and patching leaks as I see them.
Did you say leaks like a sieve?
Yeah.
What is a sieve?
Something that water passes through quite easily.
Oh, okay. I'll have to Google that later. I've never heard that term in my life.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
I've never really inquired what a sieve is, but I've heard the phrase.
Is it a sieve like a specific item, or is that just a sieve is describing things that water goes through?
It's a specific item, but I've gotten into a kick, and I guess it's like a tick or something where I've been saying old timey sayings. Like when my dad was here last weekend, I made the joke that cutting firewood warms you twice, and I think there was another one that I said that was like an old timey saying. So
I just looked it up. Man. I googled it. So leaking like a sieve is usually an exaggeration, means just leaking a lot. A sieve is a container of some kind which is meant to separate out solids from liquids. Leaking like a sieve means that a lot of liquid is getting through whatever barrier it's meant to keep fluid in or out.
Yeah, we had one in our kitchen. It was for if you were straining gravy. It's it pulled all the thick stuff out of the gravy and kept the juicy liquid stuff down below in this container. Got
I just call it a strainer.
It doesn't sound as cool. It's leaking like a strainer.
Yeah. Or I could say colander. It's leaking like a colander. That sounds like I'm pretentious. Yeah. So
colander sounds like a magical potion of some kind.
Yeah.
No, it's not. It's a strainer.
Like a cauldron.
But got the shed done. Let's see. I haven't really played very many games. I guess more Fallout. Fallout 4. I've been playing more of that. working on anybody who's played at the castle. Like I've always avoided the castle just because I don't know, just like the big walls and everything are a pain in the butt to have to deal. But I was like, I'm gonna make my own Diamond City. So like I've been working on that and like making like little town like markets and like apartments and stuff. And I remember back to a friend of mine that we play Fallout 76 together, and his wife was watching him play, and she's like, "Is this an interior decorating game?" It's like how much detail he and I put on like building stuff and making them look nice. And no, this is a post-apocalyptic war zone simulator. So
can PlayStation handle mods for 4 yet?
Yeah, has been for a while.
So
I'm running hella mods on there.
Yeah, do you have the unlimited expansion or unlimited building mod?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, dude, it is so fun.
Gotta have that. I had the Build Anywhere mod where like you can literally break out workshop anywhere, which is pretty nice. If you just like want to set up like a little camp or something or like a little waypoint, like yeah, you can just set up anywhere.
On my PC, I ran that mod for the castle, and that's exactly what I did. So I've got like this huge, massive like fortress, like concrete walls and everything. I like rebuilt all the walls, all the gaps in the walls, and it's like almost like an impenetrable fortress because it's unlimited building in that area. And I'm like, hell yeah.
Yeah, I mean, mine's like I said, it's like Diamond City is with like all the towns and shops. Like there's the square and everything, and then there's like these like apartments up on the tops of the walls.
Oh wow.
That I'm working on, but this is the same game where I've got the zombies I told you guys about a few episodes ago. Like there's lots and lots of zombies, and they are attracted by sound and stuff. So like the walls are having to be set up to where there's like zombie traps, like lockdown. So like if a pressure switch gets triggered, it throws the big sliding doors in. The zombies get stuck into a kill room where I've got heavy lasers and rocket launchers to take them out so they don't get into the city. Wow. So that's been a lot of fun to like wire and do everything in. And then of course like the last like 4 days I played, there have been no zombies. So that's
well, you've been killing them all.
I guess. I'm trying to think what else I've done. I haven't done anything crazy this week. It seems like it's been a really boring week. I mean, I made more training videos. I was talking about this earlier off podcast, but I got the new Mac Mini set up. The M1 is all set up and running now. It runs quite smooth. I've got Final Cut, Audacity, which is what we record on, Discord open to see the fellows and talk to them, iMessage, and a couple other smaller apps running, and I'm at like 6 gigs of RAM. So
what?
Yeah, it's it's pretty good. And like I threw a couple things into like Final Cut the other day just to like test it out. And dude, I was running Final Cut with its green screen stuff, like multiple filters on, like a 15-minute clip, and like no problem. It handled everything almost instantly. So it is delicious.
Wow.
I like it.
I don't like the way you
in
said
the process of I'm in the process of moving everything over. I tried to do a straight migration, but that didn't work. And the reason it didn't work is just my movie projects, it's like Final Cut and iMovie, is like 1.2 terabytes of data that has to be moved over, and I've only got a 512 in the M1. So all that's currently moving over to an external hard drive to get off before I send Michael back his Mac Mini that's currently sitting in pieces beside me.
Hell yes.
So hopefully I put it back together correctly, and don't break it.
I wouldn't care. Well, kind of, but I wouldn't care too much. Just a little bit.
Please don't.
But it's been getting warmer. It's nice outside. We've had the windows open. It's a certain stage in your adult life where you get certain things that you shouldn't be excited about. I picked up a set of wind chimes today, and I'm really excited about that. So I got them hanging outside, and now that we've got the windows open, I can hear them going all day, and I'm excited. Wind chimes, right?
I give it like a month, and then you're just like, Jesus Christ, these wind chimes never stop moving.
Cut the racket. Yeah. Speaking of things that getting excited about that you shouldn't get excited about, we were going through Walmart earlier today, and we have one of those 5-gallon water dispenser things, right? You put the 5-gallon bucket on it, and our jug on it, and that's how you get your water.
Yeah.
we got one of those just because it's cheaper to get water that way. It's like $2.50 if you swap out the containers. It lasts a long time. It's always refrigerated, or you can get hot water. I drink a lot of tea, so I can just pull hot water up there.
Nice.
Nice.
We've had an old one that my parents gave us a long time ago, and they have the newer ones, which it stores the jug underneath it, so there's no big like 5-gallon jug sitting on top. And my wife has wanted one of those for a while, but they're like $200-something, which is kind of silly for what you're getting. I mean, it's literally a pump and a spigot, and that's about it.
Yeah.
We were going through Walmart today, and they've slowly been going down in price. And like we saw them the other week, I think they were like $150, and she's like, "Oh, it's a good price, but it's still too expensive. We don't really need one." We go through there today, and they were $107. And so, after much deliberation, which I don't really understand why we had to deliberate, because she knew she wanted one, we got one, and like she's excited about having a water dispenser. So. Life's funny that way, isn't it?
Yep.
Quality of life improved by 3 points.
I got a new pencil. Oh my god, I've been needing a pencil forever now.
I got like a pad of like sticky notes the other day, and I was like, "Oh, this is gonna be so great. This is gonna increase my productivity at my desk so much."
and then a week later, you're gonna be like, "Why do I have so many goddamn sticky notes everywhere?"
I don't even know what half these mean.
Yeah.
What is bacon cat fart? But I guess the last thing, we finished Squidbillies, which is sad because I don't think they're going to be making any more. I love that show. It's so funny.
That's the other show I've been binging this week is Squidbillies.
Oh, Squidbillies. Oh God, that show's so funny, man. But we finished that. So we started rewatching another show that I really like, and I showed my wife. She thought she hated it, and then I showed her a few episodes, and then she ended up liking it, and that's Malcolm in the Middle.
She didn't like really? Malcolm in the Middle at first?
She only saw like one episode, and it was the first episode where like Lois is running around the house without her like shirt on and stuff.
Yeah.
And she's like, this whole show is just this lady running around naked screaming at everybody. But no, it's funny. It's one of my classic like favorite.
Yes.
I guess it's not a sitcom, but like one of those kind of shows that aired on TV regularly.
Yeah. Phenomenal show.
I just feel like that show encapsulates like the 90s, like 90s kids so well. Because I'm like right around that same age as Malcolm. So like all of his like experiences, like I'm even like looking at the toys in their bedroom and stuff. And it's like, yeah, I had that. You know, so it's like a nostalgia like hit just to go and watch that show.
Yeah, I was saying really earlier because I was surprised that you liked Malcolm in the Middle. I don't know. I just didn't imagine that you would like Malcolm in the Middle. I've never actually seen the show, so
you seriously need to watch it. It's absolutely hilarious.
Funny. Okay. Actually, now that you're saying, just real quick to interject, when you were saying like looking in the background of like toys and whatnot in the rooms, have you guys ever seen the movie Mid-90s?
No.
I think it's on Amazon Prime. Chris, I know Chris specifically, like being like a skater kid and whatnot, growing up in the 90s, like absolutely, definitely should check that out. Huh. Chris, I think you'd like it too, man. It's such a good show or movie. Sorry. Anyways,
back to check it out. But Michael is like Francis. When you watch it, like you'll think it's Michael's older brother because he looks like he looks like Mike. Like no joke. Like if Mike had an older brother. Francis. But that kind of is a decent segue into our topic today, now that we're 40 minutes into the podcast. So I got started thinking a few weeks ago, you know, when you're a kid, you have all these dreams of what being an adult is like and you know, what you're going to be when you grow up and things like that. And more times than not, those dreams and thoughts that you had of how things would be when you got to a certain age are entirely different and turned out complete opposite than what you wanted. So what I want to talk about today is what is or some of the earliest thoughts you had of what you wanted to do with a career, why you wanted to do that as a kid, and then why you ended up not doing it and pursuing that career path and ended up doing what you're doing now. So, like we said before, why did you give up on your dreams, and explain why you're a failure? Michael?
Pass.
Can't pass on the topic.
You want me to go?
Yeah, I want Ricky to go because I had to think about this because honestly, I don't think this is a tough one because I don't know.
Like as a kid, you were never like, oh, I want to be a fireman or a policeman or something stupid like that. Like anything.
Ricky?
I mean, I can go first if you want me to give you an example.
Sure, go first.
Yeah, Chris, go first.
So one of the I won't say one of the first jobs because like I wasn't a little kid. Like when you're a little kid, you want to do everything. You want to be a fireman, a spaceman, whatever. You want to go do all that stuff. But like I think one of the first like jobs that I thought to myself like, yeah, I want to do this. I want to start pursuing this. Was I wanted to be on SWAT. Really wanted to be on SWAT. I watched the movies SWAT over and over again because I wanted to be in SWAT so badly.
LL Cool J, baby.
I think I was like 12 or 13, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna get out of high school, and then I'm gonna go join the police force and be on SWAT. There's a couple things that I learned about SWAT that kind of deterred me. One, where I lived, there really was not a SWAT. There was, but not like in the movies. They weren't like in downtown metro areas. They were like busting down crack house doors and seizing hunting rifles. And that sounded boring. That's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to like rappel off of buildings. Another thing that kind of fueled that, by the way, was Rainbow Six Vegas 2, a game where you play as a SWAT team member. So, that kind of fueled it. And then I also met some people who were on SWAT, and they were less than intelligent. I don't know if that's everybody on SWAT, but I quickly ascertained from the people that I met that it was really a place for people who didn't think very much and more just liked banging their heads against doors until they opened and yelling, "Get on the ground." So my ideas of what that job actually was were very different than what reality seemed to be. So I gave up on that dream, unfortunately. I guess unfortunately, both fortunate. Like that probably would have been a pretty fun career, but at the same time, I've said this in the past. Like I don't think psychologically I would do very well in a job like that. I feel like I probably would deteriorate my mental health pretty quickly in that kind of job.
I can see some PTSD forming for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. It seems like it's a really hard job. I mean, it is a hard job, and the people who do it, I commend those kind of people. But it just didn't seem like it was the kind of place for me. Once I really took a look and examined what the job actually entailed, it wasn't, flying down the road in a bus and then hopping out, doing a barrel roll, and shooting people with my assault rifle. And I didn't get to know LL Cool J either.
You just realized that the John Wick lifestyle wasn't for you.
I don't know who that is, but yes.
Oh my God.
Okay.
Anyway, I've got a couple more, but that's really the first one that I can think of. So now one of you two get to go.
I mean, Ricky, if you got it, you can go.
I mean, I would probably say like one of the first ones that I really thought that I wanted to do was be an astronaut. And then I realized that I have terrible eyesight, not the best physical candidate to handle those sort of gravitational pulls, and I'm not really all that smart either. So that was the three strikes.
SMRT.
Ricky, there's an asteroid headed towards the ship. Where?
What?
Huh?
Asteroid.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I was fascinated with space, and I mean, I really still am. Like, I don't know, space just fascinated me as a kid, and I wanted to be one of the few that was able to actually get up there and experience like 0G on a regular basis and see the planet in person, like in its entirety. But that's a little bit of a harder goal than I thought. Because you have to basically be like the best of the test pilots in the military, and then you might be selected to become an astronaut. I don't know. It's a very elite position. So I don't know. I kind of just, once I realized like what all was involved and what all I would have to do and change my lifestyle and give up and sacrifice to do it, I was like, well, maybe I'll watch John Glenn do it. But I think that's what it was. Like we did like a field trip or whatever, and we got to like meet John Glenn, like shake his hand and hear him talk for a bit. So
it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was a pretty cool experience. So. And I want to say we went to like the Huntsville Space Center and everything. And I remember actually like Space Camp. You guys remember like Space Camp or seeing Space Camp when you were a kid? Like I always wanted to do that, but I never really got a chance to. So I think really at an early age, like, well, I never went to Space Camp, so it's over.
I'll never have a chance. You go to some prestigious school or whatever, and like you get into the interview to be an astronaut or whatever. All right, everything looks. Oh no, you didn't go to space camp when you were 12. Sorry, you missed out on some fundamental building blocks there. That was actually one of the prerequisites for the position.
It's like on your resume or a job application. Did you go to space camp? I'm like, all right, I'm done with this resume. Clearly I didn't go.
I mean, I watched Space Camp. Does that?
I saw some kids walk past me that were in space camp. Yeah, that was my.
Yeah,
that was
I
my
had a
first
friend
one,
that was in space camp
for sure. It was to be an astronaut, which I feel like is every kid at some point, but still.
I mean,
so
yeah. I mean, I can remember when I was a little kid being like, oh, I want to go to space. And then, yeah, I kind of did the same thing. Like, I could train my entire life and become an astronaut, or I could get good at video games. So I did that instead. Drank a ton of Mountain Dew.
I would not recommend that. So, but...
What Mountain Dew?
Oh, okay, so crazy side story. When I was a kid, it was what? Well, I wouldn't say I was a kid. I was like 16, 17, 18, somewhere around there before I joined the military. I would drink probably like 6 to 8 Mountain Dews a day.
Yeah, same.
Jesus.
I could do it. I could go through an entire case easy.
Yep. And so that was when my dad, well, he had retired, but we were still on TRICARE. So, I mean, Chris, I know you know about TRICARE and all that fun stuff, but
yeah.
So I ended up getting, I think, like 4 or 5 cavities from it. One, because my dental hygiene was not as good as it is now, but because I was also, like, literally any money that I worked for my job, I would go to school and then, vending machine, Mountain Dew. Vending machine, Mountain Dew. And I'd constantly have a Mountain Dew on me, and I would drink Mountain Dew constantly, and my parents were just, like, livid because... They were like 5, pretty much my whole entire mouth has been like redone because of cavities. So, and I apparently have like notorious bad teeth or susceptible teeth to cavities anyway. So I have to really watch my soda intake, which has gotten better. But I will have I'll brush my teeth in the morning, in the afternoon, floss all the time, all that fun stuff. I'll like stay away from any sugar. I'll still go to the dentist and like, oh, you look a little bit of cavity starting. And I'm like, I have literally for like 10 years stopped doing this
Water gives
shit.
you cavities now? What?
Yeah, apparently, I'm just like, like, oh yeah, everyone's starting. I'm like, how? Like my whole entire mouth has been like redone because I pretty much have had my teeth drilled every single time I go to the dentist for cavities. But yeah, I got like 5 cavities done in like one sitting. Just from Mountain Dew and my teenager. Yeah, so I would not recommend a Mountain Dew lifestyle. Unless you just don't care about your teeth and don't go to the dentist and what you don't know won't hurt you, right?
Yeah,
Until
fuck
it kills
teeth.
you. They make dentures, you'll just be like 20, 30 years old with dentures, brand new teeth that you don't have to worry about. You just get your dentures replaced.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds kind of, you never have to brush your teeth again. Sounds sick.
Exactly.
Dude, I remember when I got my first root canal and I was like talking to the dentist and I was like, so this can't get cavities, right? He's like, no. Okay, so I can get root canals done on all my teeth real fast.
Yeah, and the only problem is I have sensitive teeth, and so they have to usually give me like 2 to 3 doses of numbing stuff in order for me not to feel anything. So I prefer not to go to the dentist, and if I can save myself from having cavities or being drilled, because I'm like, nope, I still feel that. Oh, yeah, I feel that. I'm screaming in pain. They have to hit me like 2 or 3 times at least with numbing agent and stuff like that, with a needle and everything, which I just absolutely love. A needle being jammed down my fucking throat. So... all right, Ricky, have you passed the torch?
Yeah, I think so.
Your turn. Time to stop procrastinating.
Yeah, okay,
Why'd you give up, Mike?
Yeah, so I might procrastinate. This might sound like procrastinating. So even now, I still don't really know what I fully want to do with my life. My mind's too hyperactive, and so I haven't really honestly. So like as a kid, like ultimately, I think I want to be a handyman, and that's actually what I'm planning to be doing in the next few years after I get done with my current job. Make a whole bunch of baller ass money from this job, and then just go be a handyman. Because personally, I really like serving people. I like working with my hands. I'm not a desk jockey. I just can't do that. I can't sit at a computer and do paperwork. I can't even like read a PDF for like 2 minutes. I have so much trouble reading a book. As much as I enjoy reading, I have to be in the right mentality or mindset. So when I was a kid, like pretty much all through like growing up in high school, I mean, yeah, I really like I really wanted to be a pilot phase for every year from Halloween. I would dress up as a pilot. I really love trains. And so, I love trains, and I still do like trains, so like I could see myself, I probably almost have to ask my mom about this, but I as a child, maybe like being like a train engineer, but it wasn't just like something that drove me to it. It was just like, oh, that's a cool idea. I love trains, but like I just didn't do anything with it because it just didn't motivate me or drive me enough, and it wasn't like exciting. It was just like an idea, so it wasn't like an actual like, oh my god, I just want to be a train engineer, and that was pretty much the same with anything. I wasn't like, oh my god, I want to be a pilot, my dad did launch rockets and missiles and some shuttles and whatnot, and so I was and am fascinated about space, but nothing really drove me to be like, oh, I want to be an astronaut. But the one thing, because my dad was in the military, was I wanted to be in the military. So like that whole entire service before self, like I've always been a service-minded person. And some people find it weird because when I like talk to new people and I like get to know somebody, like I'm very much of like, someone will say like, oh yeah, I'm having a computer problem. I'm like, what kind of computer problem are you having? Like, maybe I can help you. Like, oh, it's a hard drive issue. Like, oh, I can actually help with that because I know how to format hard drives and stuff like that. And I'm like very like forward. I'm like, I can help you, and that's usually how I've always been. And so like, oh, you're working on cars. Well, I know some car stuff. I can rebuild engines, and I've got some body work experience. I've got reupholstery experience. I've got I can wire up subwoofers and shit like that, and do really good jobs with everything. And I'm just like, so if someone says like, oh yeah, I have a problem with like the radiator, it might be leaking. I'm like, oh, actually check this, and this, and this because it might actually be leaking, because and that's usually I am. And so the military for me, I think was more more prominent in my life because my dad did it. And that idea of, I mean, not to sound all heroic or anything like that, but like living a life for other people in a good way.
Did you have like a specific job with military? Like I know you said like a pilot. Like yeah, it was another phase that I went through. I wanted to be a pilot, but
so it wasn't until my like not as like a child, but in my later years when I was like probably like 14, 15, 16, starting, after you kind of got established in puberty. I really like what really grabbed me was operators. Your Navy SEALs, your JTACs, your TACP, your aerial gunners, basically, and that's what really plagued me during my Air Force career was, one, I chose maintenance because I thought I wanted to turn wrenches, but even that was a little bit too slow for me until I started hurting myself because of the maintenance we were doing. I really when I deployed and I started being, a crew chief, and I started, flying as a flying crew chief, unfortunately I never was coded or paid for it and got that, I never had the time span to actually be, 100% qualified, but I was pretty damn near close where they were still flying me as a crew chief. And so I would work with load masters, and so we were loading vehicles and trucks and drones and helicopters, and it was just go, release the straps, undo the straps, like drop airdrops, drop people, all that fun. Like that high speed, I was always for it. I always wanted to be an aerial gunner. I wanted to always be in the thick of the thin. I wanted to be, downrange. I wanted to basically be that guy, working with a band of brothers essentially and and going through compounds and working with a team, and basically be those operators that were downrange, top secret, whatever they're doing, working in the middle of the night with the night vision goggles and stuff like that. Because my mentality was always just like, it was one thing for me in the military just to work on a gunship, because if you failed at your job and you couldn't get that plane in the air, people died. And that was invigorating and exciting, because it's really real. If you suck at your job, your actions or your lack of ability to do your job has a direct input on the lives that you're flying out there to support. So even though I wasn't in the plane, if they have a hydraulic issue or something that I was qualified crew chief issue and there wasn't anybody else and it was just me and I was put in some of those scenarios, if I couldn't do that job and that bird did not get in the air, we were bringing our people back in body bags, and you'd never want that. So that kept me driving to be the best, and that's why I wanted to be a crew chief as well. And I wanted to be a flying crew chief and qualified an engine. So my drive throughout my whole entire life, especially as I got older, was, underlying was always service to other people. And so, I really wanted to be, it wasn't just enough for me to be a hydraulics mechanic. I needed to be more. I needed it closer to that. Because in the military, you have 1 alphas, 2 alphas, 3 alphas, 4 alphas, 5 alphas, and that's your job code. So, I was a 2 alpha. So, 1 alphas were your heavy hitters, your people who are on the front lines, your tip of the spear type of people, in the Air Force, as close to the tip of the spear as you could be, for the Air Force, your JTACs, your operators, all that fun stuff, your flight crew. And your 2 alphas were just we were close. We were the closest. So, anybody who was a 3 alpha, 4 alpha, or 5 alpha, or whatever, you were just fuck you, bitches, pieces of shit. You're farther away from that actual, target, We were right outside that, where we almost had, whatever we did impacted what would happen in that target. For real. We weren't just ammo, who being oh, we're ammo, well, you can't shoot your gun without ammo, so we're so important, no. Anyway, so I always wanted to be as close as I could. Aerial gunner would put me there. Being an operator could put me there. But, unfortunately, the life choices that I made was I wanted to be a maintenance guy because I thought that's what I wanted at the time. So that's the closest thing, but that wasn't until later in life. But the overlying theme was I wanted to always, and I still always want to be, serving other people and doing that. So I mean, I know it's kind of a long answer, and that's I don't really remember oh yeah, I'm gonna be a police officer and then I failed out of police academy, or I want to be a firefighter and I couldn't do it, or yeah, those were cool jobs to me, and I thought about them, but it wasn't anything I thought and actually wanted to pursue, and I don't regret not going for, type of thing. It's it was just more it was an idea, but the underlying thing was service and being in the military, honestly, I think. Yeah. So that's my one and I guess only answer, kind of. So.
Yep. No, I mean, it's fun. I mean, I guess I've had here recently. I say recently, last I don't know, about 5 years. I've always really liked cars and working on cars and stuff, and I feel during my teenage years when I was trying to find my first job and stuff, there's a couple times where I thought about going in to be a mechanic and stuff, and I think I still would enjoy being a mechanic, just working on cars, mostly modifying cars, not doing repairs, I guess. I don't want to just sit around and do people's oil changes. That's boring. I want to put some massive turbo that shouldn't be on a car with, the big ass intercooler. It's the size of the windshield and all kinds of crazy stuff. I want to do that kind of stuff and see my cars go race on tracks and stuff. But I just feel the couple times that I thought about doing that, or people that I knew that were mechanics, the big thing always was you don't get paid very well. You'll usually always be fairly poor unless you get into some prestigious race shop, or get signed on with a race team. And I don't know, I guess that's probably what deterred me the most from doing that, is just worrying about the money. Which, I mean, I guess that is something you should be worried about as a young adult, is are you going to have enough money? But I don't know, if I were to quit my job today to go start a new career, I would try to go become some kind of mechanic or something like that. If I didn't have to worry about money, making as much money as I do currently, basically taking a massive pay cut to just go do something that I enjoy doing.
Yeah.
So maybe like as a retirement gig or something. I don't know.
I mean, and honestly, I mean, with that money topic, I mean, that's the thing is like, you know, I got paid well being in the military, but you know, you got abused, and I didn't like. I started not to enjoy it anymore, and so like, that money is what kept me on embracing the suck, that security of having that paycheck, and like, I mean, like it just got to so much point where I was just like, are you living your best life, worrying about your money, and worrying about how much money you're making when you hate your job? I mean, especially in your younger years too, like. You know, I'm not saying like not everybody's gonna find their like sweet job, but if you actually put the time and effort into it, you could get your sweet gig job. You know, like if you actually put the effort into it, and then you wouldn't have to worry about the money. You know, like the money wouldn't be a thing. You know, yeah, you could go make $30 making it. You know, you can go make $30 working at Taco Bell, but you're gonna hate working at Taco Bell. But you can make like $10 working at like, you know, Tesla and corporation. You know, or corporation. And love your life and not make as much money. You know, which one would you rather have? Money or happiness?
Yes.
Yeah. Both. Please.
Both.
Now.
Both. I mean, it can happen, but
With minimal effort, please.
yeah. I'd like to get paid to do nothing. I mean, I already do, but anyway, it doesn't matter.
Can I make money on YouTube as a gamer?
Oh,
That
God. Yeah.
Swell.
You should have started, like, that's the one thing. Like, do you guys ever, I'm sorry, this is a sidetrack, but do you guys ever, like, regret not trying to start a YouTube channel when YouTube came out, when everybody was just like, oh, this is just a gay-ass channel, like, no, fucking YouTube, like, this isn't going anywhere. Next thing you know, there's, like, 18-year-old, 16-year-old kids that are YouTube stars, have got, like, 20 million followers, making, like, a shit ton of money. And
I don't like to think about how many YouTube accounts I've had trying to get famous on YouTube, Michael.
well, if you started when it first came out, or when you started
Yes.
big or stuff like that, like it, you know,
Yes.
like you know, you jumped on that bandwagon and then you were like one of
I
the
did.
OGs. Oh, you did?
I did, and nobody liked me.
Same. Yep. I tried to do that too, but unfortunately, I love Halo, and that game is pretty much dead. So, especially whenever I was trying to get it to do it.
It's like, screw this dude. He likes Halo. Nobody likes Halo. Like, he's old
Back
news.
then, capturing game content was a lot more difficult than it is today.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
true.
Yeah, that kind of takes the fun
Yeah,
out of it
was-
for me too, as well.
Yeah, like having to hook up the Elgato and like record the video and then record the audio.
Yeah, it's a no-kidding process. It's just too much. And now they got I did the streaming world, and it's like a nightmare. Now they have the stream decks to make things easier and a whole bunch of other stuff, and it's just so much stuff to keep up with. It's just like, no.
Mm-hmm.
So-
Podcast is hard enough.
Yeah, so hard. Yeah, so hard for you, Michael. You have to talk. Yeah.
Talk. I have to drink and
Anyway,
talk.
anyway, the editor of the podcast has a question. So last question, and then we'll wrap things up. I kind of just spoiled it and did mine. If today you could quit your job and literally go do any job, regardless of training or anything, like tomorrow you're guaranteed this job, you'll learn everything that you need to know. What would you go do if you had that option?
I absolutely would go work at 343, like, because 343 is the people who develop the people who develop Halo, and I absolutely love Halo, and I would love to be able to work there and be amongst other people who love that game, and get to see the behind the scenes that nobody else in the world gets to see. And put my input into how like weapons should look or feel or sound, or even like go out and record the sounds for the weapons and stuff like that. Like that would be my absolute dream job, and it's up in like the Pacific Northwest as well.
But you said you're not a true Halo fan unless you hate Halo. Would that mean that everybody who works there just despises the game?
At times, I'm sure. Yeah, there's it's a cycle. Like you hate Halo, then you love Halo, then you hate it, then you love it.
Huh.
It just depends on the time of day and whether or not you won your last match, I guess.
Michael?
Yeah, for me, I'd go back into the military. I would probably take two jobs. One of two jobs, of course. I'd either be an aerial gunner, flying helicopters, and of course, gunning. I think my first choice, honestly, would be being an operator. I would go back and I'd go like do TAC-P or something like that. Like, I don't know if I'd want to be a SEAL, just because I don't really want to be a part of the part of the Navy. But there's Biscuit in the background. I just pretty much just go back. I definitely want to go part of the Air Force, but I'd be an operator. I want to be on the ground. I want to be, running off Ospreys, helicopters, whatever, and I want to be running through compounds with my brothers and stuff like that type of thing. Like that, hands down. Like, I miss the military so much, honestly. I mean, it's a pain in the ass looking at all my memorabilia that I have, my gunship rounds and all my stuff that I've acquired through the military, and I look at it every day and I'm like, man, I would go back in a heartbeat if I could be like an operator or a gunner, honestly. No, like I would like blink of an eye. I would just go, that's what I would do. Like, leave everything behind, honestly. I mean, it's sad to say. I don't even know if my wife's listening to me like that, but, or if I went back in time before I got married and everything like that, and, I had to choose at 18 what I'd do, like, that's what I would do right there. Yeah.
That sounds fun, but I'm getting old, Michael, and that sounds... All right, we're going to run up there. You're going to crouch behind that wall, and you're going to lay down cover fire. Do I have to crouch? Yeah. Like, can I, like, stand?
Is that now, do I need to hit B, or is that an A, or is that right stick? Do I push in right stick for that one?
Yeah, I prefer right stick. I definitely think right stick. Hold to prone.
Stay here? I'm too old to be crouching behind walls and crawling around.
Wait, was that your question? If we could go back, or if we could do it right now? I mean, regardless, I don't think it would change.
If you could do it right now, yeah.
If I could do it right now and I wasn't fucked up with my back and my hip, yeah, hell yeah, operator, yeah. Yeah, still would do it.
Yeah, I'd go find some kind of mod shop for cars that we do ridiculous things and just go do that. I wouldn't even care if I made money, honestly. Like, just to go do that kind of stuff would be a blast.
Yeah.
But, money and adult and money.
Yeah.
One last question. I know I said that in the last one. We got one last question.
But wait, there's more.
Yeah. I kind of know Ricky's. Mike, I guess we kind of talked about yours. So, we are still young-ish. We're not dying yet, unless, something tragic
kind of started
happens.
dying when you were born, but anyway, I digress.
Anyway, so what do you guys see yourself doing in your retirement? Like, what are your plans for, like, work in your retirement? Like, do you plan on retiring at an early age? And living your golden years RVing around the country like some old people do? Or do you guys, like, want to work through your retirement years? Like, what do you want to do?
Hell no, I don't want to work through my retirement years. I definitely want to retire early. I think I've talked about it a bit here on the podcast before and off as well, but I definitely want to get into the real estate thing. Basically have some sort of income that comes to me every day, because I kind of had like my mind blown or kind of readjusted a few years back, because traditionally you think of retirement as this big pile of money that you put money into over the years, and once you reach 59 and a half you can finally enjoy it. Or if you can have money coming to you every month that meets your expenses and then some, then you don't have to work. You can just go fuck off and do whatever you want. So, and pretty much do that as early as I can, so I can enjoy my life and do whatever I want for as long as I can. That's what I plan on doing.
Okay. Michael?
So, I've been technically retired since 2018.
Yeah, I know. But what else? What else are you going to do?
So, I mean, that's the thing is, it's like, honestly, I don't think... Well, one, because I'm drawing money from the VA, and I hit it big with the VA. I am literally, honestly retired. But I'm only working right now just because we want to get out of debt and we want to save money and make extra money and all that fun stuff. So, like, that's an interesting question, because, like, literally I don't see myself working past 50. I really don't. I mean, yeah, like, I want to start a handyman business here in a few years after I get done with this job that I'm working right now. Like I said, and start a handyman business here. So I've been like looking at all the resources, and I plan on going to school and taking, business classes and all that fun stuff, so I can actually start a business here. But I honestly don't see myself like doing that more than like 20, 30 years, honestly, because I don't want to work at a desk. And so, like, unfortunately, because I already have a bad back and bad hip, and now my knees are starting to go already, physical and manual labor, as much as I love it, I'm not going to be able to do, so I'm gonna do this handyman gig until my body, like, gives out, but, like, my body's already giving out, and I'm 28 fucking years old. So, like, it's sad and frustrating and depressing at the same time, because as much as I'd love to 65, like, shit, I don't even know if I'm going to make it to 65 with how broken I am. And it's not like just broken mentally. It's not like, oh, my knees hurt, I can't work and move. Like literally, like, my back is fucked. Like, and my hip is fucked. I'm not just complaining about some sort of emotional pain because I think my knees hurt and my back hurts. Like, gone to the doctor, I'm fucked.
I don't know why I'm laughing. Just your, oh, my knee hurt.
Well, I don't know, man. I'm just like, I've seen so many people complain. I'm like, oh yeah, I twisted my knee and it hurts, and it hurts for like a couple of days and I get better, and they complain about it the rest of their life, and then, they're running marathons over there, like, okay, does your knee really hurt? Anyway, I don't want to trivialize anybody else's pain, but I'm not going to be able to continue doing what I love, which is just pretty much manual labor with my hands for the rest of my life. So, like, if we're talking about, like, what am I going to do after 65 or up to retirement, like, I'm probably not going to be able to do any of that. So, pretty much, I've got pretty much till I'm, like, 45, until I pretty much am, like, have exhausted my body, and I'm going to be in a wheelchair or a hospital bed till I die, at the rate I'm going. So I pretty much view myself as retired already, and I'm just working for the hell of it, and just to make sure that I'm set up as much as possible for the rest of my life, and especially, my wife, I said, when I say I also mean like her, that we are set up as comfortably as possible. That's a really good position to be in, though. For the rest of it. And so I'm pretty much like, I am already retired, unfortunately, and I'm 28 years old. I'm 28 with a 55-year-old body at the moment, so...
Super.
Yeah, I would just love to kind of be like where you're at, like where money's not really necessarily an issue, and I can work if I want to.
Yeah.
But I don't work because I have to.
Yes, it's nice, but it's just I try to also keep that humble mentality, because I know there's a lot of people that are not in my situation who have to make ends meet with 3-4 jobs, and so I don't like necessarily want to brag about it, but it's there's never a day where I go without pain. And I'm down for a few days every month or something like that. So, but yeah, I mean, like I said, pretty much already retired, and I'm just working for the hell of it, just so I stay mobile and active, because I can't stay stagnant. I can't do it. So, and I'm going to try to stay that as long as I can, but I don't see myself working past 50, 55. I really don't.
I think that's like the thing that I would be worried about once I get older and retired or whatever, like just like having nothing to do, like that. Like if something scares me about getting old, it's that right there. Just like, what am I gonna do today? Nothing.
What I'm gonna do is, when I can no longer work and say I have like $1 million in the bank, I'm gonna be the old fart that sits in the garage, and I'm gonna be building jet engines like Bob Laszlo. And building engines in my garage, and next thing you know, my neighbor's gonna come over, and I'm gonna be like all black in the face because I've got like charred explosion all over my face, because I try to like build like a nuclear reactor in my basement.
We gotta go,
like,
Marty.
Or in my garage. That's gonna be me. I'm gonna be that guy who's like creating random shit. Like, oh, how can I make a plasma cannon? And boom, like I just like completely blow up because I didn't do my calculations right, and I just blew up a plasma cannon in my hand. Like that's gonna be me. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm a tinkerer at heart, and I love manipulating things. So like that's what I'm doing. Like,
mine's a lot less adventurous than that, Mike.
RV sounds cool.
So I don't know, like a few years ago. Quite a few years ago, actually, I had this thought go through my head of like, I know what I want to do when I retire. Like this is like end goal, how I retire. I've always thought I want to own like a coffee shop bookstore in a little small town. And like, that's it. Like, I'm technically retired, but I can go there and work whenever I want to.
Yeah.
Go make coffee, do whatever, sit there at my little like hole in the wall bookstore and like, like maybe be near a place where there's like college kids that come in. So, there's good business and stuff like that. But like, have employees to where I can pay them if I don't really feel like being there or whatever. But I don't know. It's like a quiet small town coffee shop, not like a Starbucks where there's like, all the Karens coming in and like wanting triple non-fat, ultra soy, keto friendly,
vegan, gluten-free,
pagan religion, cat latte, like none of that stuff, I don't know. I just feel like that'd be fun. The other idea that I had was like a bar, but when I think about owning a bar, I think about like a really classy joint. I mean, not like the Shining classy, but just like, I don't know, like people come in there, they have a couple drinks, they have social conversations, and then they leave. Nobody's in there like getting just like trashed out drunk, acting like an idiot, bar fights. Like I would want none of that.
Cozy.
But I don't know, like just like I guess kind of like a cigar lounge. If you guys ever been to one of those, just like comfy leather chairs. You come in, you have a couple drinks. I've got the books and stuff you can read. And then you go about your way before you get ridiculous. I don't know. This seems like a really
big ass fireplace with a bear rug.
Yeah, it seems like a really peaceful kind of like retirement. Just like a little bit of income coming in and like something to go do.
Yeah,
but I guess the plus side is too. My wife is quite a few years younger than me, and she has ambition to go into JAG. And once she does that and starts making that kind of money, I don't think I really have to worry about too much after that.
She can be your sugar mama right there.
Right, and I'm fine with that. I can do a little dance every now and then, whatever, for the money. But I don't know, like if she does that, I'm
Can I buy this new Xbox game? Let me see that wiggle.
Yeah, I'm more than willing to be supportive. Like if we got to go move places or whatever, I'm fine with that. I don't really care. Like the job I'm doing now is fun, but I'm not, I guess, emotionally attached to it. Like if I didn't have that job tomorrow, it really wouldn't bother me too much. So I don't know, like if that happens, she does go start doing JAG, like I don't know, maybe I can go start doing like my mechanic stuff, where it's not necessarily a big deal about how much money I'm making anymore. So I don't know. We'll see how that goes. And
then you can be like, oh yeah, it's gonna be like $3,000. Why? No, yeah, your flux capacitor's bad. Okay.
Yeah, looks like that turn signal fluid is low. I'm gonna have to replace that.
And that's the old turn signal fluid, so it's hard to get now. So it's like $3,000 an ounce. So,
God, if I worked at a repair shop like that, and somebody's like, "Hey, my car's making a noise," but yeah, the noise that you're hearing is you not having a turbocharger. So what we want to do is go ahead and install 2 bird eaters. Now they're gonna come out of the hood and slightly obstruct the front of the car, but when this thing gets going on boost, it's going to sound badass.
Okay, that sounds nice. Okay.
Granny touches the accelerator coming out, just flings down the road. Yeah, I'd have a real hard time with that. Like, yeah, we could just do an oil change, but have you ever thought about a supercharger?
For an extra $9,000, you can get a supercharger.
I mean, essentially, we could just swap your entire fuel system over to E85, and you'll be driving on what race cars drive on. So that's as good as an oil change.
It's a win-win situation for all of us.
Well, gentlemen, that about wraps things up for this episode. I think we've exhausted just about everything there is for this topic. Getting old, it's fun, and looking back to see why you didn't do the thing that you thought you wanted to do when you were a kid is also terrifying and fun.
And depressing.
So for this episode, my recommendation, I don't really have any media for anybody because I don't really intake very much media, but I do want to say, invest into just opportunities and your future. This could be volunteering somewhere. There's a lot of animal shelters that will let you volunteer same day. Go take a trade school class, learn how to weld, learn how to do something. Anything that you can do to increase your resume, regardless of what you think you're going to do, always looks really good. And you might learn that you have a skill that you wanted to do your whole life. And, then you're welding on the space station. So, but that's about it. I would say roll that intro, but I'm not going to make that mistake. So here's the outro.
This has been the Pixelated Porch Podcast. We're the friendly nerds, Ricky, Chris, and Mike. You can listen to us on all major podcast platforms. Plus, we're on Twitter and YouTube. Just search Pixelated Porch.
Established in
I know, it sounds weird.
Thinking of like a business conversation. Michael, how is puberty going? I'm well established.
I just imagine him just putting a flagpole in the ground.
Whatever, excuse me. Okay.